Frank, Kara, blessings and congratulations on the birth of your son, your second child. And much like we have for Sullivan a few years ago, we have a chance to baptize Quinn this morning. Congratulations and blessings this day. You know, it's interesting. We have in our readings today just the first reading in a gospel that sometimes people will hear and they maybe walk away wondering, what is it that Jesus is saying today? You know, the young man who come to him saying, we want to come and we want to honor our families before we go and follow you. And it's like Jesus is almost telling him, no, don't do that. You know, all this talk about, let's say, no one who sets a hand to the plow and looks to what was left behind is fit for God's kingdom. I think, wow, that's not used to the kind of language we hear coming from Jesus, is it? We sometimes hear him, let's say, get sharp with the scribes and the Pharisees who have been tormenting him, but not regular people who are following and listening with an open heart. What's going on with all this? I think there's a wonderful thing to take out of our readings today and also speak something about mission and family. So let me kind of spend just a moment on that as we talk about this in this beautiful summer baptism day for your son Quinn. The language we hear from Jesus today, you know, scratch my head on why he just seems to be so resolute. Well, we're at this stage, an early stage in Luke's gospel. He is now making his journey to Jerusalem. He's very resolute. I think part of Jesus' directness and abruptness is connected to the idea that I am going on my journey to Jerusalem. I'm going to meet my fate there. All who come must be committed. And so he's being very, very singularly minded here. And he's inviting us to think a little bit about, say, what is the cost of being a disciple? Sometimes we'll have to have a bit of a price to pay to be a disciple. Sometimes things won't be easy. They may be difficult. There may be moments that they're filled with ardor or agony, as Jesus will experience later. But there's an Old Testament reference here, and hang on to the idea, the way the gospel closes. This no one who sets a hand to the plow and looks backward. You know who they're referring to? The folks in the first reading today. That first reading from the book of Kings. And it's a beautiful story about two prophets. Elijah, who's an older man filled with wisdom. He spent his life as a prophet. And how can I say it? He's passing on the torch. He's passing over the mantle to Elisha, a much younger man. And he walks over, he places his cloak on Elisha. It's almost like he's designating, you are the one who's going to follow. You have said yes to the Lord. And Elisha, being a young man, has been working in the fields. He's behind a team of oxen, and he's been working the fields. And he says, first, let me go and tell my parents and say goodbye to them, much like a good son would do for his parents. And the ways in which family love and connection speak, that Elisha is obviously a young man who's been raised well by his parents because he knows the way of love and faithfulness. And there's good things to be seen there in messages of life and love and faith, part of which we talk about today with your son's baptism. And it's interesting, I have a friend who was talking about this reading in Spanish. This reading in their masses where they celebrate in Spanish, the first reading is, say, where Elisha talks about, well, you know, go off, but what have I done to you? It's almost like, why are you going to see your parents? Come and follow me. That's how it comes across in English. But in Spanish, there's this beautiful image where it says, oh, I know the path the Lord is calling you to take. Go and kiss your mother and father goodbye, and then come back and have a free heart to follow the Lord. Wow. Love of parents, love of God, care for one another. The reading goes on to talk about how Elisha stops and he takes the yoke for the oxen and breaks it up and makes a fire. And he cooks the oxen so his parents will have something to eat for days. He is so concerned about his parents' well-being that he walks away, but he wants to make sure they're provided for. There's things about life and faith, and we think about, say, on a day like today, when, much like we had Sullivan a few years ago, now we have Quinn being baptized, encountering the Lord in this very special way today, encountering the Lord in life, in spirit, in gift. And we have parents and godparents to help our sons be shaped and formed into the young men that God has given them life to be and blessed them to be. And you as parents have been involved in sharing, co-creating this life This life they have comes from you. This life they have comes from God. This faith comes from God. This faith comes from you. You nurture it and support it and sustain it. All these good things we do today, much like the older prophet Elijah is showing Elisha the way, you show your sons the way too. And we do all this with faith, because just as Elijah and Elisha do this to follow the Lord faithfully, we have parents who look to share their faith and give it to their sons. We pass things on. The prophets do it, we do it. It's been going on as a long, unbroken chain of faith, generation after generation. And here we have parents and godparents passing on the faith. Something very special. We think about the readings today. The challenge we have is sometimes, let's say, when we're saying goodbye to the ones we love, we're not saying goodbye forever. We're ready to go and do things with a clear heart, a clear conscience, and make our life in the world. And we stay in touch with the people we love. They mean so much to us. The people we love mean so much to us. And we walk with them, and they walk with us. Today, the prophets and those who follow Jesus are looking to go and do his work in his way. And parents are looking to prepare their sons for the day when they too will walk, but they won't forget you, and they'll be with you. Just as Jesus does all these things for us, may we, in faith, do all these things for the Lord and for one another. May we always stay close to the people we love and the people who love us with words that go beyond all saying and all measuring. Let us rejoice and be glad. Elisha and Elijah went off to do the work of the Lord. May our family walk off and go there, go do their work of their family, knowing that you have home here too. A place for baptism, a place for Eucharist, a place for confirmation, maybe for the guys, a place for ordination or for marriage at some point in the future. Blessed be the Lord who walks with you and supports and sustains you, smiles on everything you do, as parish, as family, as people of faith.